I'm back and we're doing chapter 2. So chapter 2 is on anxiety, and I gave it its own chapter because so many people talk about feeling anxious. And it's such a natural response to this kind of uncertainty. You know, being able to talk about, acknowledge anxiety, talk about it, share it, goes a long way to reducing it. It's when we kind of hold it in and deny it that it gets a kind of a life within us. So here goes. If you look at page 34, you'll see the fear and anxiety floor check. And the various manifestations of anxiety, which is interesting to know. It's not just anxiety. It might be panic, phobias, over-controlling people, places, and things can be an indication you're anxious. Chronic regrets, envy, or feeling you've missed out. That way of holding anxiety on the inside and just binding it through regretting and ruminating. Irrational fears or free-floating anxiety. Helps a lot to check these out with people. Get reality checks, share them. They tend to dissipate when we kind of share them. Hypervigilance, always waiting for the other shoe to drop, panic attacks. Hypervigilance is a natural reaction to feeling traumatized, and it's the sort of thing that you really want to identify and recognize when you're just being too hypervigilant and find ways to work with that. Meditate, relax, distract yourself, watch Netflix, cook, clean, get into motion. Do something that takes you out of that feeling and into something positive activity. I'm not saying avoid the feeling, but just distract from it can work. Somatic health issues can be symptoms of anxiety. You know, tight stomach, trouble breathing, high blood pressure, all these kinds of things can be also dealt with by thinking more relaxing thoughts, meditating, eating well, exercise, a big one. Let's see, constantly feeling overwhelmed or under the gun can be a manifestation of the anxiety. Fear of retribution or punishment if life works out. Now, sometimes if life goes smoothly, it makes us anxious, especially if we've grown up with chaos, addiction, average childhood experiences. We can mistrust life going smoothly. Tightness in the chest, we sort of talked about. Talking too much, not being able to regulate speech and leave time and space for interacting and for the relationship to happen. It can be a way of avoiding connection. Sleep issues, clearly. I mean, trouble sleeping can be part of anxiety. And caretaking too much. Now that's sort of interesting because caretaking we think of as such a nice thing to do. But it can be something we do for our own sake to reduce our own anxiety, and it can actually be overwhelming for the person we're insisting needs our care now and in this way. So if you're caretaking too much and controlling too much, back up and see if there might be some anxious feelings and thoughts underneath. Here are the questions and answers. Glance over the squares and see what word or words draw you. Share about why you think they popped out at you. What part of your body do you feel this feeling in? Describe the physical sensations, if any, that accompany this feeling. Now, you'll get a lot of awareness just going through those questions. And if you share them with other people, it can be another way of regulating them. So that's the anxiety chapter. Get right into it.